Could the San Francisco 49ers be making some major changes as they are 5-5, fighting for a playoff spot? Their season is hanging in the balance going into this Week 12 game against the Green Bay Packers. We're talking about that on today's San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the show. A programming reminder, we will be live for Niners-Packers. Another watch party right here on the program. We'll be live starting at 3 p.m. Eastern with a pregame show, 12 p.m. Pacific, live play-by-play, instant reactions. We'll ride that roller coaster together during the game, and then after the game, a post-game show. It's the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. We'll be giving away a Jerry Rice autographed jersey. You don't want to miss it, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications. Therefore, anytime we go live or push out a show like this one, you will be notified. Change number one that San Francisco could make, replacing center Jake Brendel with Jon Feliciano. Jake Brendel has not had a good year, and over the last few weeks, his play has trickled downward. He is currently graded 43rd out of 45 qualified centers in pass blocking grade, according to Pro Football Focus. His overall blocking grade is 64.2. That is 40th among 45 quality centers. And his run blocking grade, 71.1, it ranks 13th. Jake Brendel plays his best football when there isn't a defensive tackle right in front of him. And on top of that, when he can get out and split space, either climbing to that second level in this outside zone scheme and blocking at that second level, or getting out in space on some of those pull blocks as part of this run blocking scheme, and having a lane where he can free up running lanes for the runners behind him. Jake Brendel's strength is not going up against some of the top defensive tackles in the game. He's a little bit slow in getting out of his snap. He's a little bit small just in general. And he is overmatched when he has to go up against the likes of a Chris Jones or some of the top defensive tackles in the game. And Jake Brendel simply is not good enough, and we've really had a long sample size at seeing this over the last couple of years. Now, in 2022, he was a Pro Bowl alternate. But in 2023, didn't play great football, and in 2024, it's once again the case. You look at his Pro Football Focus numbers here. Overall PFF grade of 64.2. That run blocking grade is very solid at 71.1. But the pass blocking grade is abysmal at 44.2. He has committed 6 penalties this year. He has not given up a sack. And that's one of those misleading numbers, because you would point to that number and say, wow, Jake Brendel has played some pretty good football, but he's given up 2 hits, also not a bad number, but 16 pressures on 662 snaps total. Really what it comes down to is him just not being able to hold up in pass protection. And when that happens, opposing defensive players are able to get a free lane right at Brock Purdy. And when the pocket is muddied for a quarterback from the interior, it can wreck a play. It can move the quarterback off his spot. It can throw the timing of the play all out of whack. And so Jake Brendel might be able to get by when he's playing against some lackluster defensive tackles, but when he goes up against teams with a good front, he really struggles. He gets pushed back into the lap of Brock Purdy, and it throws this offense out of sorts. A lot of you probably have this question too. Can Jon Feliciano play center? He is what we call a swing interior offensive lineman. He can play center, he can play right guard, and he can play left guard. He's done this throughout his entire NFL career. And going back to Brendel here, Sports Info Solutions has a statistic: blown blocks and penalties. Since week 5, Brendel, 6 blown pass blocks, 1 blown run block, 3 total penalties. One of those penalties really handicapped the Niners on a drive last week against Seattle where they were moving the football. As for Jon Feliciano, I just simply think that he is the better option at that center spot as compared to Brendel if he's able to hold up with that knee injury, which he's been dealing with all year, which caused him to miss a lot of the season. And That's why he hasn't played yet. But if he can come back and if he can stay healthy and be healthy, then Jon Feliciano should start over Jake Brendel. In 2023, when he had to fill in at right guard, he had to fill in at left guard, he played a little bit of center, he had one of the finer years of his career. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 81.2, run blocking grade of 87, one of the highest marks for any guard in football, a pass blocking grade of 66.5. Is that elite? No. Is it better than Jake Brendel? Yes, much better. 244 snaps at right guard, 208 snaps at left guard. He had to fill in for Spencer Burford when he was hurt, had to fill in for Aaron Banks when he was hurt, and then had 26 snaps at center. He was the team's starting right guard in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. The year prior to last year, in 2022, he was actually the full-time starter at center with the New York Giants. Keep in mind, bad quarterback play, bad offensive line around him that probably contributed to some of the down numbers here. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 58.2, but a pass blocking grade of 65.9. Still so much better than Jake Brendel. And a run blocking grade of 57.1. So with Feliciano over Brendel, you might get better pass blocking, a little bit less in the department of run blocking, but I think he's just a better player overall. 22 pressures given up in 2022, 3 sacks, 3 hits, 6 penalties on 971 snaps at that center spot. So who should start at center? JB for Jake Brendel, JF for Jon Feliciano. Once again, as always, let your voices be heard here on this show. If you want to support the Niners, you want to support this program, San Francisco. That's the motto anytime the Niners score a touchdown on the watch party here. So if you want your shirts, chatsports.com/SF. We'll put that link down below in the comment section and attached to the pinned comment of today's show. You can get yours today. We've sent these all across the world. So change number 2. I think it's time to get D Winters on the field more. And I've been talking about this since the preseason. I've been talking about this all year long. And when D Winters was on the field last week against Seattle, he made some big plays. That 4th and inches stop, D Winters played a role. And imagine if the Niners could have had D Winters and Fred Warner both on the field at the same time for a couple of those Geno Smith scrambles, which were backbreaking as Seattle marched 80 yards down the field and won the game last week. De'Vondre Campbell doesn't have the speed of D Winters, who has sideline-to-sideline speed, a lot of burst, good instincts. He plays like his hair is on fire, and albeit in a limited sample size, his coverage grade against the pass, a lot better than De'Vondre Campbell. He's just more athletic. De'Vondre Campbell has been a little bit better in recent weeks, but at this point of his career and in his life, he doesn't have the speed that D Winters has, and D Winters can really wreak havoc. Now, can he be overly aggressive and sometimes over-pursue? No doubt about it. But at this point, what are you losing? Because De'Vondre Campbell is really killing this Niners defense. D Winters, 77.6 coverage grade. De'Vondre Campbell, 57.7, one of the lowest marks for a full-time linebacker. And, of course, San Francisco really missing Dre Greenlaw this year as well. What the Niners need to do as a team, and we can kind of brainstorm some changes here, they just have to finish games. And what's been so frustrating and maddening about this Niners season in 2024, so often they have outplayed the opposition. So often they have had leads. So often they have been in a position to win. And then they choke it away in the 4th quarter and in the final couple minutes of the game. And I think this is pretty telling. This is scheme. This is personnel. This is a lack of depth. Maybe this is also this Niners team in general, top to bottom, being mentally and physically fatigued. But EPA, it stands for expected points added. And this is the Niners' defensive EPA per play by quarter. First quarter, really good. Number 4 in the NFL. Second quarter, still elite. Top 10, number 7. But then they start to tail off in that second half. This could be due to lack of adjustments from Nick Sorensen and the team, again, wearing down. 13th in the third, 28th in the 4th quarter. So offensively and defensively, the Niners collectively are playing their worst football in the money quarter. The Niners run defense EPA. What's the similar theme here? They start off the game very well. First quarter, number 3. Second quarter, 22. Third quarter, 25th. Fourth quarter, 23rd. It gets worse. The Niners' pass defense EPA. Once again, Niners are good to start the game. 9th in the first, 7th in the second, 7th in the third. That's a pretty good three-quarter stretch. And then they drop down to 28th in the fourth quarter? So the Niners, in totality here, defensive EPA, the first through third quarter, they're 5th in the NFL. And then total as a defense in the fourth, they are 28th among 32 teams. This is also a sight for sore eyes here. Niners points per game allowed in the fourth quarter in 2023 and in 2024. The Niners defense got stronger last year as the game wore on throughout the duration of a 60-minute ball game. And in 2023, the Niners gave up 3.7 points per game in the fourth quarter. This year in the fourth quarter, the Niners are giving up 8.8 points per game. That's 27th. If you were to multiply that, their fourth quarter numbers, by 4 throughout an entire game, it's 35 points per game. And so this is a collective effort for the Niners to finish games. And so the changes that the Niners need to make, the offense needs to be more efficient. The offense needs to capitalize in the red zone. You score more points, you give the defense more breathing room. The defense needs to get off the field on third downs. They need to be better in the red zone. They need to be better against quarterback scrambles. And as the game wears on, they need to make adjustments. They need to be better against the run. They need to be better against the pass. Again, it's personnel, it's lack of depth, it's coaching. It is really a failure at every level of the organization for how San Francisco has been unable, bad English for a journalism major, to finish ball games. And it's very frustrating to talk about because it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm looking at the comment section right now. J49, stop napping in the fourth. It's like the Niners nap in the fourth quarter, coaching-wise and player execution-wise. Be sure to give me a follow. Let me know what you think about the content at Chase_Senior on X, over 14,000 followers, and then at Chase_Senior, the same handle on Instagram. We're past 34,000 followers over there.